DIY with Nancy. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to make Queijadas da Vila. Now what is Queijadas da Vila? Queijadas da Vila is a very simple cupcake made with ricotta cheese. So for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a very popular queijada or cupcake that is in São Miguel Açores or Açores, as you would say. I'm trying to translate it so everybody can understand, because I know there's so many viewers with so many countries, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows what this queijada or cupcake is. There's a fly in here, sorry. But anyway, I'm going to tell you that my way of making Queijadas da Vila is just the same. Like I said, it's made with ricotta cheese. You don't really taste the ricotta cheese at all. I had a friend of mine who I made that for, and she was like, oh, you don't even taste the ricotta cheese, but it's so good. It's a really simple queijada, super delicious, from São Miguel Açores, but I'm gonna show you how I make my version. So stay with me and let's make Queijadas da Vila. To get started in making the Queijadas da Vila, I'm going to start off with 2.5 cups of ricotta cheese. I have here a medium-sized saucepan. I'm going to place the ricotta cheese into the saucepan. Now to the ricotta cheese, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I have the butter at room temperature. It's just easier to melt everything down. And next I'm adding the sugar. I have 2 cups of sugar, or 500 milliliters of sugar. I'm going to place that into the saucepan. And to that, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. Now the heat is not on. I'm just placing the ingredients in the saucepan first. And next I'm adding 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. At this point, I'm going to place the heat on a low to medium heat. And I'm going to start mixing all the ingredients. And I just want to make sure it's on a low to medium heat. Now at this point, I'm going to stir all the ingredients. And you'll see that the butter as well as the ricotta cheese will all cream together. You want to stay by the stove while you're doing this process. I don't know, I would say about 8 minutes maybe, until everything liquefies and it's come together nicely. It's almost like making a rouge douce where you stand by the stove and constantly stir. Well, this is the same thing. The only thing is we're going to wait until it all melts and it comes together in a creamy texture, just like this. Now once you have your creamy texture, you're going to turn off your heat and you're going to set it aside until it completely cools. Now while it's cooling, I'm going to move over to my counter and prepare the cupcake forms. Now to prepare the forms, I have the cupcake forms here. I have a pastry brush. I have 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I have water at room temperature, and I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Now I'm going to start off with the pastry brush and brushing the butter onto all of my tins. I'm going to start off doing that first with all the butter, and then I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do with the next step. Now I've completed the first step, which is coating the forms with butter. The next step is to dust the forms with all-purpose flour. So I'm going to sift the flour into each of the forms, and I'm going to make sure it's well coated. So I'm going to do that one by one. Now with the excess flour in the tin, I'm just coating it around before I place it into the water, just like that. And you're going to take it and dip it into the water. And just take the excess water, and you're going to continue doing that. I've coated the queijada forms with butter, then flour, then water. Now I'm ready for the second coat, which is going to be dusting it with flour, removing the excess of the flour, dipping it in the water one more time. I've completed coating the forms with the second coat of all-purpose flour, and I'm just tapping it to remove the additional flour before I dip it into the water. Now I've removed the excess flour, and I'm going to dip it into the water for the second time. So this is the second time, and I'm going to continue doing that through all of the cupcake forms. And then once I've dipped them all into water, I will, for the last time, dust the all-purpose flour into the tins, and that will be the last coat. So just to recap, You're dusting it with flour 3 times and dipping it in the water twice. I'm removing the excess flour from the last coat of all-purpose flour that I dusted onto the cupcake forms. Now for the last ingredient, I have here 14 egg yolks, and I'm going to add to the same bowl 2 whole eggs, and I'm using large eggs. Now before you add eggs to the creamy mixture, you need to make sure that it's completely cooled. So it's been sitting here for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, and so it's completely cooled. I'm going to mix the eggs and add it to the ricotta cheese mixture. Next, I'm going to gradually add the eggs into the ricotta cheese mixture. I'm gradually going to add it in. I'm going to mix it together. Now I don't have the heat on. The heat is off. I just want to make sure that the eggs are mixed into the ricotta cheese mixture. And at that point, once all the eggs are mixed in, you're ready to pour the batter into the cupcake forms. It's all ready. I'm going to walk it over to the counter and start filling the cupcake forms. Here's the last step. We're going to pour the batter using this cup here, which I really try to keep it into the cupcake tin. It just helps me to keep it nice and clean. Sometimes I do drop a little bit, but I'm going to place it into this cup and pour it into the tins. And at this point, you want to have your oven preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to pour the batter into the tins. I'm going to completely fill them. Now this recipe will make you anywhere from 20 to 24 Queijadas da Vila. Now as you can see, I'm using these individual cupcake forms, and if you don't have these, you can easily use a cupcake tray. Now I'm going to place the queijadas in the oven and bake them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 25 to 30 minutes. The Queijadas da Vila are out of the oven. For the last and final step, I removed the queijadas from the forms. I'm going to dust it with icing sugar. Now you want to ensure that your Queijadas da Vila are completely cool before you start dusting the icing sugar. My Queijadas da Vila are ready to be served. Here's the Queijada da Vila. I'm going to cut into it. I want you to see what it looks like inside. Now, the outside of the Queijada da Vila has that firm crust, and that's what the butter and flour does. But look at this. Absolutely delicious. Cutting into it and showing you doesn't do this Queijada justice. You have to taste it. It's an absolutely delicious and easy to make Queijada da Vila. And that was it. That's how I make my Queijadas da Vila. I want to show you the water, the butter, and the flour is what creates the crust. But inside, I know I did show you up close and personal, but I have to show you. This is just an amazing queijada. Let me just show you here. Hope you can see that. It's so good. And I'm telling you, the longer it stays, and when I say longer, like couple days, they taste even better as the days go by, but they don't last very long here. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the Queijadas da Vila recipe. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Take care.